Hello and welcome back to the Cryptic Twist. I'm Alex Jones and today we're looking at the Mail Online's 1st of June Cryptic Crossword. So let's get started. So, volcanic rock turned up by little creatures. So I want to say that this might be something to do with lava and larval, but it isn't obviously quite right, is it, in terms of the wordplay. So lava I think is spelt like that, and that is, I forget which is which. Magma and lava are different. They're the same substance, but one is while it's still in the earth and one is when it's outside. I think magma is in and lava is out, but it's melted rock, isn't it? And if I'm saying larval, then I'm saying that. But there's no homophone indicator. And turned up implies there's going to be something different going on. Maybe an anagram or similar, and little. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm using the wrong letters though, so okay, we'll ignore that. What about one down? Can we get a hint from that one? Little bull from Jim Upset's famous archer. I mean, there's only a few famous archers, right? There's Robin Hood, there's William Tell. Are there any others? Could this be then? Little bull from Jim Upset. I'm not seeing that one either. Females sailed off. Okay, this one I think I can do straight off. So, two parts of the clue. As always, one side is definition, one side will be something else, a second definition, wordplay or similar. So females here I think is our definition, and then sailed off is going to be wordplay. Off is an anagram indicator. Sailed is anagram fodder. We can get ladies from that, which does mean females. Very bad letters from lamb say. So I think this is going to be similar. Letters from feels like it could be an anagram indicator. Lamb say happens to be 7 letters, so it could be anagram fodder. So I think we're looking for a word that means very bad. There's an anagram of lamb say. It starts with an A. Abysmal. I was going to say it looks tricky with an A at the start because there's no other. There's only one other vowel, so unless that Y comes in the middle, that's going to be a tricky one. But yeah, abysmal, that's fine. Got another crossing letter there with an M as a start, that's helpful. A Y in the middle, that could be useful. Let's try this one with an I. Bringing back some muscles in the Hebrides, say. So in, I'm wondering if that could be a hidden indicator. We've got Hebrides with an I, but it doesn't look like it does anything, does it? The Hebrides say could be our definition and be like isles. Bringing back some muscles. Oh no, it is. So in here is part of our hidden fodder. And actually it's not in that is our hidden indicator, it's some. And bringing back implies it's going to be reversed. So it's this I here from in and coming back ISELS into muscles. I mean, we immediately saw that it was a hidden, but my God, not for the right reason and not with the right fodder. But that's useful. We've got another good crossing letter down here. So let's try and do this one, and that'll give us some help up here, I think. African in Khartoum, a sailor. That looks like another hidden. So in this time is our hidden indicator. Khartoum, a sailor. We've got the M here that we want. There's an S here. So we're going to go with Masai. Okay, this corner's going smoothly. Youth leader surrounded by poor mites is put in an awkward situation. Youth leader could be the leading letter of youth, so Y, and then surrounded by poor mites. That might be, poor might be an anagram indicator, it might be an anagram of mites. And that might mean to put in an awkward situation, or might just be an awkward situation. What have we got? It doesn't look like the Y goes at the end, does it? And you could get a Y that early on. Stymie. I don't think I've ever heard stymie used in that sense before, as in to mean an awkward situation. I think I've heard the word stymied as in I don't know the answer. Mentally, I'm in an awkward situation, I guess is kind of my leap of logic to get there, but let's have a look at it then. Stymie meaning prevent or hinder the progress of. Do I like stymie then as put in an awkward situation? Let's see if there's any more definitions. Not seeing any. Let's see if we like this. 2 Y's and an L. This can only be a certain pieces, right? People in palaces, royalty, I'm guessing. Payment to author. Yeah, so this is a double definition. Easy. Now we've got 2 crossing letters that we can go for. Let's go with the one with a start. Sailor held by communist worker causing delay. So a communist could be, so first of all, sailor held. The word held here feels very positional. I'm guessing we're having a word for sailor that is inside communist or communist worker. And actually I think it's going to be communist worker because I think our definition will therefore be causing delay. And we're splitting the clue nicely where this comma actually indicates. So a communist could be a red. A communist worker, I can't think of a synonym that would begin with R, but maybe this is 2 words, so red and ant maybe. So that's 9 letters. And sailor, there's some 3 letters, so it could be tar, for example. If it is tar, then it probably doesn't go after the R. So can we make this work? Will this work? Yeah, no, that's perfect, isn't it? A retardant is something that will slow something down. It will cause a delay. So yeah, we've got tar inside red ant. I mean, as charades go, I was somewhat lucky to have the first 3 synonyms. The first synonym I thought for each of those 3 words to be exactly what it was. But yeah, not too bad. Okay, so we've got a T at the end here. Basic building block forming part of kettle. Okay. So part of could be a hidden indicator, but I don't think it is here because I can't see a natural place to be looking inside of a word. Bits out of a kettle. There's an element. That's what it is. So it's double definition. A basic building block of, in chemistry terms, would be an element. It's a series of like atoms. So that makes sense. And an element is part of the kettle, the bit that heats. We've only got E's as our crossing letters, which isn't ideal, but we're going to need to tackle this at some point. But do we do it now or do it in a bit? Let's go with this. We've got 2 letters here. country dancing as a ritual. As a ritual is 9 letters. Dancing could be an anagram indicator, and I'm only arriving, like, country dancing feels like a good 2-word phrase that could be a definition. But if that was the case, well, what's our second part of the clue? As a ritual could be a second definition, but if it's not that, then it's got to be something else. So at that point, I'm splitting the clue: country and dancing as a ritual, and that's how I get that being an anagram indicator. So as a ritual, we've got the R and the L here. So Australia, maybe? Yeah. Dry wine for Charles de Gaulle, for example. Charles de Gaulle is an airport. A wine, example of wine could be port, and dry and air, yeah, would be synonymous. If you dry your towel, you might air it. An airing cupboard is a drying cupboard. So yeah, I think that works. The way I got that was thinking, well, Charles de Gaulle, for example, what might that, whether that's the definition or the charade part, what would Charles de Gaulle be? I went through a short list of, well, he's this kind of unhelpful logic, but he was a Frenchman, he was a Gaul, that doesn't work. He was a general, he was an ally, and then after that list I got to airport. So, okay, we've got 2 crossing letters here, but A isn't a very useful one. Lover who may be married. What lovers are there that we could think of? Alternatively, married has a question mark after it. There's a chance that, given that it's 7 letters, that married question mark and that who may be, which might be joining, might be kind of an indicator, could be suggesting it's an anagram. It feels a little bit weak, but it feels possible, and I'm not seeing any other ideas immediately. We do have an A and an R in there. What could it be then? So it's not like a Romeo, it's not Casanova. I'm not seeing it. So we've got a vowel at the start, so we probably have like a vowel here and a vowel here. So maybe like that. We've got an M, a D and an R. No, I'm not seeing it. Let's come back in a second and see if we get a crossing letter for it. The medicine goes down. Oh, that's a nice phrase. With only 4 letters, and I can't see like an obvious splitting. My guess would be that this is a double definition, the medicine and goes down being our 2 definitions, but this one looks a little more friendly. Sort of pastel tableware. Again, this one feels okay as a surface reading, but this one does feel much clearer as to what it's maybe asking you to do. So sort of pastel, that feels like an anagram of pastel or pastel, and that'll give us some sort of tableware. I mean, could easily end like that. Tableware could be plural, in which case maybe it ends like that. Plates, yes. Oh, that shouldn't have been as difficult to get as it was. 20 down. Poser with poem, written in 1050. 1050 could be Roman numeral. 50 would be the L, as 1050 would be ML, I think. And if this is if this is a poem written in 1050, that feels positional. So I'm thinking it's a word for a poem that is inside M and L. And actually a poem could be an ode, and a poser could be a model. Nice, easy. That gives us a position for our M as well. Credit is doubled. A desperate situation. My first reading of this is that we're taking something that means credit and having that twice. But I don't think that's right actually on reflection. So it is going to be something that means credit, CR, from certainly using accounting terminology, debits DR and credits CR, and then is doubled, not doubling the CR. I think we're going to double the IS. That's going to give us crisis. The medicine goes down. Okay, that feels like drops now. That feels okay. Okay, so this is only going to be our vowels we need to put in. No, not quite actually. Oh, admirer. Yeah, so it wasn't a specific lover. It was a general lover. So it wasn't Romeo or Casanova, but yeah, someone like a secret admirer, someone more general. Ancient city and its leader saved for last. Its leader could be I. Or it could be the leader of the name of the city. What's an ancient city? Troy? Not seeing it. What else have we got? This one looks possible. Family member in Barts is terrific. Again, I like the surface reading of it. It feels a little odd, but it feels a little odd in terms of the feel of the sentence, but the words flow nicely together. So a family member in Barts is terrific. I think that in is going to be a hidden indicator because in Barts is terrific. We have this, starting from this S, we have SISTER, so that will be sister. That's good. Unpleasant type of animal seen by river. So river could be R. We've got an R here. We have an animal next to it. We could have an otter, which gives us a rotter, meaning unpleasant. So again, that's a very nice surface reading. It flows very nicely. The one thing we had to watch out for there was just the animal and the river. They're in a different position to what the clue indicated, but it doesn't indicate positionality, so I think it's fine. Old Testament character, New Testament incident. So Old Testament could be OT. New Testament could be NT. So how are we splitting this clue then? I think there's three options for a definition. There's Old Testament character, and then maybe we've got New Testament and incident, but that doesn't feel very likely. Or we've got a New Testament incident with like Old Testament and then a character like a Greek letter or something. Again, I don't think, and that would mean a New Testament incident. Or maybe it's an Old Testament character like Job or someone else, and that give with New Testament, and that gives us an incident. I think that's the most likely reading, but I'm not seeing what it could be. Eve's an Old Testament character, and that does give us event. Yes. I drink by the sound of it. And freeze. So I think freezes, it would ice up. That sounds like ice up. think I like that, although I would say that sup is more to do with eating and sip is more to do with drinking. Just look sup up, shall we? This one, it tells me that actually it's completely fine, it can mean both. Oh, sup is drink or liquid food. Okay, that's perfect then. Yeah, I sup. Sovereign in purse, changed by me. So changed could be an anagram indicator. In purse is the right number of letters for an anagram. But if that's the case, then how are we reading this clue? Because the words we've got left are sovereign and by me. And it doesn't really make sense for our definition to be a bit at the beginning and a bit at the end. So actually, I think our anagram is purse, and that's going to be by me at the end. And I think that gives us supreme, which looks fine. Oh, we can't see the timer. How are we doing? 22, that's not too bad. Ancient city and its leader. Saved for last. I mean, is there any way that couldn't be an H? For a three-letter word starting in T ending in E, it feels like it's got to be. If that's the case, and I think our ancient city might be Thebes, and then T, which is Thebes' leader, is our wordplay, and that gives us the best, which I think is why we've got a question mark in this clue. The best is saved for last as a phrase, isn't it? So that feels, again, very reasonable. Now we've just got this top corner here. We've tried one across, we've tried one down. We weren't sure on those. So let's see what we can do with the others. We've got 2 crossing letters here, 1 crossing letter there. Let's go here, it's a shorter word. Fabric created initially by eccentric peer. So created initially. I did wonder whether this might be initials all the way through, but C-I-B-E-P doesn't work. For one thing, P and E, not the same letter. So I think this is going to be created initially. I think our definition is probably going to be fabric, but we'll see. Created initially being C, and then eccentric peer, an anagram of peer. We can get crepe paper, or crepe fabric. Is there a sort of crepe fabric? It's definitely crepe paper, isn't there? Crepe fabric. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Wikipedia. Silk wool, synthetic fibre fabric. Yeah, absolutely fine. Okay. Let's go with here because we've got double. We've got a double crossing letters. Chap with key, a renowned African leader. Or with an E and an A there. I don't think this is tricky to suggest that might be Mandela. So how can we make that work? Chap, man, with key, Della, or Del, with then the A from here. I think that works. I mean, it's not a key to turn, but where you've got like the Costa della Sol, is that like the Florida Keys? Is it that sort of key? Costa della Sol might be what that della is doing in there. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm a little uncertain on that wordplay. Like I say, I think I can see how it works. I'm just not 100% sure on it. Move during sword fight. Taking nothing from room. So my initial thought was sword fight. We're looking at something to do with fence, but that doesn't really work in terms of nothing from room. My second thought was maybe pounce and taking nothing, taking a 0 from that to getting punts, which didn't work. But that made me think of the word lounge for room. We take the O from that, we do get lunge, which is move a move that you would do during a sword fight. It is a sudden lunge, a sudden movement, isn't it? Okay, only 2 left. We've got this E and L, so our upset famous archer might be LLET, tell backwards. So what is our definition? Is it little ball or little ball from gym? Might have to give this a little bit of thought. This looks like a tricky 2 to finish up on. And of course they were the first 2 that we looked at, so that went really well as a starting place. Actually, looking back at this one, volcanic rock turned up by little creatures. Little creatures could be mice, and once we've got that in there, I think we can see that turned up could be PU. We've got pumice, which is a volcanic rock. Could this be like a pullet or something? Or a pellet? So there we're saying that gym is PE, like an activity. Yeah, you'd call PE at school gym sometimes, wouldn't you? So that feels okay. And that's going to be it. Whee. Okay, so we got there, and actually with very little fuss for the most part. It was just this top corner that really caused any problems at all. But yeah, I mean, I might be imagining it, but it felt like the first puzzle of June was a lot more simple and straightforward than the last puzzle of May. I don't know if the Mail Online tends to make it get sequentially harder through a month, or have a particularly easy one at the start or a hard one at the end, but maybe it just felt like that. Maybe that's how I found it. Do let me know if you think that this one was easier than yesterday, if this was a particularly straightforward one. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe, and come back for tomorrow. We'll have another one then. In the meantime, thank you very much.